I have always loved Advent. I grew up with pink and purple candles at a wreath at the dinner table. And as a young mother, I knew this is something I wanted to pass on to my children as I encouraged them to love the anticipation of Advent and wait. Wait on the Christmas trees, the music, the lights, the parties, to embrace waiting, resting, patience. Patience is a theme in this week's reading. It's a virtue. And while patience seems appropriate when I'm thinking about resting in Advent and waiting for Christmas, when patience is presented as an antidote to impatience with injustice, I worry. Though it may seem as this week's readings do exactly this, I wonder if something else is going on. Note the flow of the readings. We start with Isaiah 35, this beautiful description of the whole earth awakening when God comes to save. The desert, the parched land, everything blooms, sings, rejoices. The feeble are strengthened, the blind see, the ears of the deaf are cleared. The frightened leap for joy. This salvation that's promised is the healing of physical infirmity, sure, but also of fear, of weakness, blindness, sadness, maybe even the lack of a desire to sing or dance, help for parchedness and a failure to bloom. God promises all of this. But Psalm 146 takes us back and forth between assertions of God's saving power, the Lord God is coming to save, and this urgent plea, Lord, come and save us. God, come now, we need you. Where are you? The repetition is striking. God's amazing. God, come now. We need you. Where are you? It continues right to the end. The Lord will reign forever. God, come now. We need you. Where are you? And then comes the second reading from James about patience. It seems like an answer to the back and forth of Isaiah. Just wait. See how the farmer is patient, even when the rain doesn't come. Make your hearts firm. Don't complain about each other. God's coming, we hear. Some commentaries suggest that patience under suffering or affliction is the point here. And maybe that's part of it. But even though the farmer's patience is lauded, it's another model of patience that we're called to emulate. The author of James counsels, take as an example of patience, brothers and sisters, the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. The prophets. Be patient like the prophets. What is that? Though the gospel gives us John the Baptist, my mind goes to another prophet who spent some time behind bars, Martin Luther King, who certainly had his own take on patience. In his famous letter from a Birmingham jail, King writes, for years now I have heard the word wait. It rings in the ear of every Negro with piercing familiarity. This wait has almost always meant no. We've been waiting, he said. When you've seen what I've seen, patience is no longer reasonable, he said. And he closed the letter to the white ministers. If I've said anything in this letter that overstates the truth and indicates an unreasonable impatience, I beg you to forgive me. But if I've said anything that understates the truth and indicates that my having a patience that allows me to settle for anything less than brotherhood, I beg God to forgive me. Prophetic patience, it seems, doesn't mean settling. John the Baptist, Jesus, Martin Luther King, they all look to the prophets of old who spoke in the name of the Lord, who spoke about God's judgment and God's promises. We need to listen to these prophets to understand the way they practiced patience. Listen to Amos. Away with the noise of your songs. I won't listen to the music of your harps, but let justice roll down like rivers and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Listen to another prophet, Sister Thea Bowman, talking to the U.S. bishops in 1989. Today, she said, we're called to walk together in a new way toward that land of promise, to celebrate who we are and whose we aren't. If we as a church walk together, don't let nobody separate you. That's the one thing Black folk can teach you, she said. Don't let folks divide you up. You know, put the lay folk over here and the clergy over here, put the bishops in one room and the clergy in the other room, put women over here and men over here. The church teaches us that the church is a family of families, and the family has to stay together. And we know that if we do stay together, she said, we know if we walk and talk and work and play and stand together in Jesus' name, we'll be who we say we are, truly Catholic, and we shall overcome the poverty, overcome the loneliness, overcome the alienation, and build together a holy city, and they'll know we're here because we love one another. Sister Thea Bowman was not practicing a settling kind of patience. She was clear. She was joyful. She was prophetic. She called her brother bishops out on neglect of poverty and racism, on clericalism, on sexism, on divisions of all kind. She got them to link arms and sing a protest song. She got them to recognize her prophetic call and to a vision, a better church, and a better city. Her prophetic patience grounded her, giving her the strength to call out, the strength to sing, the strength, yes, to wait through the not yetness of the church and the world. This Advent, when we're lighting candles and singing songs about waiting, patience, perhaps we should remember our prophets, John the Baptist, and Jesus, Martin Luther King, and Amos, and Sister Thea Bowman, and pray to be patient like they were.